Out of YouTube. Let's see, today is June 17th. So I think the last day of my water fast, I didn't look this up. I should have before I started the video, but I think it was somewhere around June 7th. So I've been refeeding for about a week and a half or so now, so I just wanted to give you guys an update and let you know about where I'm going from here. So last time I looked at the end of the whole thing, I was somewhere around 217 when I started refeeding again and drinking juice and started getting my digestive system back online. So I went through a couple days of eating very lightly and gradually reintroducing new things, and paying a lot of attention to the biofeedback, because one thing I noticed from the fast, especially during the refeeding time, is I became very in tune with my digestive system and everything, and it told me right away, when I was trying something that was too rich, or if I was trying too much or something like that. So it was a lot easier to pace myself with my portions. Since then, as I expected, there have been times when I've forgotten to eat and I've gotten hungry and stuff like that, but because of my experience with the 8-day fast, hunger doesn't bother me as much anymore. So I was planning on, I'll tell you the weight difference right now is I've gone up to, and I've leveled out around 225. Now I have been working out regularly, so I know I've put on some muscle, but between 217 to 225, I put on, about 8 pounds. And that's pretty much what I expected from the weight of just my digestive system filling up again, because, it's always a constant state of, digesting food, moving food through, removing food, stuff like that. So there's always a few pounds of stuff inside your digestive system when you're, eating normally and, living normally. I also probably put on a little bit of water weight or something, so there's always a bit of fluctuation like that. So still feeling pretty good. So I guess overall I probably lost somewhere around 10 pounds of actual permanent weight loss. Now my plans from then on were to start incorporating some intermittent fasting. Now, you can exercise to lose weight and you can diet to lose weight, but really the most important thing when it comes to losing weight is diet. It has to do with intake versus output. And simple fact of the matter is if you're getting in less than you're burning, you're losing weight. If you're getting in more than you're burning, you're gaining weight. So exercise has an effect on that in the way that, the more active you are, the more you're burning. So you can create a calorie deficit that way. Although when you take, how many calories you burn in a workout, like 400 or 500 or whatever, compared to, the normal 2,000 that you burn just from, passive, normal functions of your life and everything, actually trying to lose weight through just exercise is, not very effective. You can also increase your metabolic rate a little bit through exercise by building more muscle, which requires more calories to maintain than, less muscle mass does. But ultimately, it really comes down to diet. So, obviously, some of you out there are saying, why am I bothering with all this weird diet stuff, when I should just be eating sensibly and exercising? So, and, I am trying to eat more sensibly and exercising more, but I am also applying, this knowledge I have of, all the dieting stuff towards trying to achieve these goals faster and more efficiently. So the idea was to do intermittent fasting, to continue my ambition for my goal of 155. However, of course, that goal's changed now because I'm going to be putting on muscle as well, so I'll probably end up being happy somewhere around 165, 170. By the time I actually get there, exercising the whole time, I will have put on a good bit of muscle as well, getting back to how I used to be. But anyway, yeah, so I was going to try to incorporate the Brad Pylon eat, stop, except, kind of like how I tried doing it before with him is, his thing is pretty simple, where you start from like 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. or something so that you're actually eating something every day. I would actually stop eating, like do a fast from waking up to sleeping. That way you end up having, something more of a 24 hours or more than 24 hours at a time of a fast, which, obviously isn't even enough to get the body into ketosis, which ketosis is an important thing after all. Anyway, I was planning on doing some intermittent fasting like that, you know, like every other day or something like that, just not eating, you know, continuing to have a large calorie deficit while still having enough glucose and glycogen in my system to keep the brain at optimum efficiency, you know, without like getting all spacey and stuff. But I guess a friend of mine challenged me to, before I continued doing some other intermittent fasting and stuff like that, to just go ahead and try the classic Atkins induction phase. Which is what he's doing right now, so he wants me to do it along with him. Atkins is okay. You know, I've done it before and had good success with it. And, it's nice to continue eating, obviously, instead of not eating anything. But, you know, with intermittent fasting and stuff like that, I'll never actually truly be empty, so I guess, you know, this Atkins thing is fine too. It's basically the same sort of thing. I mean, you're creating a calorie deficit. And obviously, if you're just eating meat and cheese and stuff, you know, and skipping out on all those carbohydrates, you're missing a lot of filler from your normal diet. And, you know, you're still creating a calorie deficit. You'd have to eat a lot of meat and stuff to, you know, keep that calorie surplus. But I went ahead and started that this morning. Cool thing about the Atkins thing is, you know, doing the induction, I'll be able to achieve ketosis again, which is really where you burn all that fat. Versus if I was doing intermittent fasting, I wouldn't be able to achieve ketosis until I was fasting for like a couple of days or something, and then I would get into ketosis. But I'll be able to do the same thing through Atkins. I did, for just a moment, you know, this morning before I started the new diet, contemplate doing a full water fast again for 48 hours to get a head start on the ketosis. You know, to get all that glycogen and stuff out of my system and to create an additional calorie deficit. But I guess if I'm achieving ketosis through Atkins anyway, it's not really going to get me that ahead because I won't be getting, you know, replacement sugar fuel anyway, just as if I was doing water fast. So today I started induction. A few things differently from how I did it last time. Last time I didn't do it as scientifically as a full classic Atkins with no adjustments. You know, last time I did have quite a bit of dairy, which obviously it doesn't list it really on your labels and stuff, but apparently dairy, you know, cheese and stuff in large quantities will convert a lot of milk sugars, which creates carbohydrates and could throw you out of ketosis. Last time I did induction diet, I didn't know really about ketosis, and I didn't, you know, do ketone strips or anything like that. So I'll be doing that this time to figure out when exactly I go into ketosis again. Just like when I was doing on the water diet, I still have tons of those strips. Let's see, I went shopping today to get a head start on, you know, the diet and everything. And last time I ate a lot more. This time I won't be, you know, gorging myself on meat or anything. I'll just be eating until the hunger goes away. You know, just like eating normally. I did go ahead and try to find a whole bunch of different kinds of sauces and stuff. You know, like I found some buffalo wing type sauce that doesn't have any carbs in it. It's vinegar based. Balsamic vinegar looked like it was no good because it has like 3 grams of carbs per serving. So it must have some sugars or something in there. Got some sort of malt vinegar, some sort of British type seasoning. But I already have liquid smoke for making barbecue type stuff. I couldn't find any sugar-free barbecue sauce. That's a pity. But you know, having all these different sauces will add some variety when I'm, you know, cooking up a pound of ground beef to eat or something like that. You know, got some more blue cheese for, you know, making bratwurst and dipping the bratwurst in how I did before and everything. So one thing about classic Atkins is it does recommend you get, you know, 12 to 15 grams of base carbohydrates a day. And that's, you know, you take the label and you look at the carbs and then you subtract the grams of fiber carbs, and that shows you the actual carb count that, you know, is what you got to watch to avoid getting out of ketosis. And I saw kale was recommended, but kale had a higher, you know, non-fiber carb to fiber carb ratio than like spinach. So I got some spinach to eat on that, you know, and I can have some olive oil on there or some, you know, vinegar type stuff or whatever. Let's see, also I'm not going to have much in the way of nuts this time, which, you know, I did last time. I guess because in classic Atkins it recommends against nuts for the first couple weeks during the induction phase. And you could see that it's because of the amount of carbohydrates in the nuts, which is actually pretty similar looking to the carb ratio and leafy vegetables. But yeah, so I got spinach. You know, I'll try to have a little bit of spinach every day. I could, and I would normally be inclined to just cut out the carbs entirely. But you know, following the classic rules, not making any adjustments, does include making sure that I get 12 to 15 a day, which I suppose is, aside from the purpose of getting fiber and vitamins and minerals, because you could get fiber from psyllium like I do anyway. I suppose the purpose of that would be just to have a tiny trace amount of carbohydrates in your intake so that you don't have to convert protein into glucose and, you know, sacrifice protein, which, you know, of course I'll be getting tons of protein anyway, but I guess I'll go ahead and do that. Unless I have trouble being in ketosis, then I'll cut that stuff out. So, alright then. Well, so looks like I'm starting at, I'll say exactly 225 pounds. And I'll make videos every once in a while, not every day like with the water fast. This will be a lot less intense, obviously. It'll be pretty easy, just to let you guys know how the progress goes. So, alright.